Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. I just want to give a brief update on AMC. Um, Looking at the price action, what we're seeing. I know that yesterday AMC had a big run up in after hours. So I just want to give my perspective and what I'm thinking. Um, just a basic summary of the scenarios that I see, potential scenarios I see playing out. So first, like on the bullish side, this is what you have going on and what you're gonna be want to be watching. Okay, if you're what you're trying to see here is that you have established a new uptrend, right? Because you had the big spike in volume and price here on December 14th. You came back, you curled down like this. Now you're on this general uptrend. You could draw like a different uptrend if you wanted to here. From here. So you're definitely going to want to be paying attention to these uptrends. Overall, the volume was relatively weak here, but it did seem that bears were in control of the volume today. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on within the markets, right? So the S&P reacted today to its big bullish day towards the end of the day yesterday. And obviously that caused some selling off across the market. And AMC, I'd say AMC held up pretty well relative to all of that. But obviously AMC is its own stock, right? So it's trading its own way. And that's where that, I think it's like the reverse beta or whatever, where basically people say that AMC has an inverse relationship with the SPY. I don't think that that's the case, but I think that you will see some decoupling that occurs, right? So like it doesn't it's most of the time not going to trade directly with it. It'll just have a little bit of a different day, and that could be SPY goes down, it has a more explosive downside day than SPY does, or vice versa. But anyway, you do still have this downtrend that's occurring here that AMC is respecting, and there's a few different ways to draw this. And I think that both ways are pretty relevant. So what I mean by that is like I would probably draw it like this. What I mean by that is this is with aftermarket and pre-market, like the after hours on. If we do regular trading, you also have this version of the downtrend here. And you can see that it's a little bit easier to see if you take the wicks off. You can see that, you know, this is a pretty respected line as it stands right now in the recent history of AMC. And to be honest with you, I think that this is generally my bias going into tomorrow. I think that what you have is a pretty strong descending triangle. This is what I see. And I know that like from a Wyckoffean standpoint, what's going on here in the short term does resemble an accumulation, but I actually prefer to see it as like almost like a redistribution that's occurring in the short term on this time frame. And so I do think that you see downside going into tomorrow. That's my bias. Now if you break to the upside here, this downtrend, and you follow that uptrend that we talked about, or one of those uptrends that we talked about, right? If you follow this uptrend out, I'll make it green so it's a little bit easier to remember. I mean, you're really coming to a key point here, right? So like today wasn't a very volatile day for AMC. I think that tomorrow will be. I think that you're going to see an explosive move in either direction, depending on where this break occurs. This is the hourly chart, so it's not going to take very long for us to have a decision on which direction this thing is going to go. My bias is bearish for tomorrow, to be honest with you. On the longer term, I'm bullish on AMC, but in the short term for tomorrow, I just don't think that in the short term, even though we have this big green candle, and you can hear it in my video from a couple days ago, I talk about how I do still see us testing underneath the 20s. I definitely think that that's still in the cards. A lot of people were saying that, which candle was it? I think it was a daily. People were looking at this candle here from yesterday as a spinning top, or I think it was a dragonfly doji. To me, this was pretty reversally. If I'm being honest, like I just don't see this as like a continuation. You have a big push down here, and then you have a push up. I think it was an initial push up. Was it? yeah, so you had, oh no, you had the initial push down, you came back up. But then you got rejected here by bears. That's what it was. I think that overall, yeah, towards the end of the day, right? So you tried to push up again and bears came back down on you hard. Overall, this is looking like a reversal to me in the short term. That's another way to look at the chart. And then, so what are the targets? So here are a few things that I've been looking at over the course of the past few days that I just want to bring to everybody's attention. Again, the point of the channel is to analyze, not necessarily predict. I can tell you what my bias is going to be, et cetera, what we could see happen, but I'm not here to like predict the future, right? I say that all the time, but people don't. People still think that that's what I'm here to do, but that's fine. All right, so sorry, my fibs are upside down because I was just talking to Rico and square root of 9, and they were trying to show me some crazy stuff. So I did turn, now it works without this, okay, but I did turn fib levels based on log scale on, and it's pretty interesting because when you look at it without this on, I'm going to change the color of this maybe, so hold on, let me change this to white, make this one yellow, and this one yellow for a golden pocket, and then take this off. So you can still see, and I'll do them one at a time. Okay, so what we've been looking at is this, right? And I've been talking about how we could go down and see the 786, which is what we did after the buy button collapse. This one's on log. In reverse? No. Sorry. Yeah, so you see here we broke the 786 here locally. And then obviously we traded above this golden pocket. So like I said, I mean, they still work, but because I'm charting in log, I just wanted to go fibs based on log scale. I think that here you have this key level 786, 1976, right? So this $19 to $20 region is what we've been talking about. Oh, sorry. Add this here. Boom. And it also aligns with the 0.5 on this log scale Fibonacci, right? So the 1954. So I'm going to be honest with you. I would be very surprised if we don't see sub 20 AMC before our next big leg up, okay? So this is just me reaffirming that that conviction. And to be honest with you, even if we were to go up from here, I would expect that that's a relatively weak move. Just based on where we are technically right now, and that we are going to end up reversing later on. I would change my mind. The way that I would change my mind on this is if we moved up here and we eventually, like, we got to move up here with volume, okay? Maybe come back down, test this 2666, trade here for a little while, and then we broke a higher high to this 34... Like we broke above this 3386-ish level. Let's see what this top is. Boom. Yeah, so if we broke above here with some volume and maybe we tested this $39 region, then I would be pretty, I'd be like, okay, yeah, like we're ready to roll. We really have to see how we're gonna react to this $26 level, 2666 level. That's gonna be really key resistance, right? So these are just kind of the overall ways that I'm looking at the chart right now. And then for you guys who are curious and want to know where we ended up going from a Fibonacci standpoint, if we use it on log scale, so let's change that. I'm sorry if you could hear that notification. You shouldn't have been able to. That's weird. Yeah, so it is based on log scale. So actually, we broke below the 0.5 and we hung above the 618 here. So a similar move. If we were to do that in this time frame, based on the same exact Fibonacci's, that would insinuate that we would go down here if we were to do the same thing that we did after the buy button, okay? Which obviously is a condition, right? Like I'm not saying like it's certainly gonna happen. We would hang below this $19 region, maybe trade between the $17.50 and $19 region. That's what a similar move would be. It would be almost like a like we reversed the cycle, right? And we kind of did this like backwards. And I'm strictly looking at the Fibonacci from a cyclical standpoint, like saying, yeah, like this is what we did before. From a Fibonacci standpoint, is that what's going to happen again? If you measure it from the all-time move, then this also becomes a 382. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think that overall, this $18 to $20 region, it's gonna get tested. It's gonna get it's gonna be traded in. If I'm being honest, like that's my conviction at this point. And I think in the relative my bias is in the relative near term that the price is gonna get pushed down here. Like tomorrow, I am expecting the price to get pushed down tomorrow, to be honest with you. I think that we do get rejected off of this. The volume just wasn't here on this move up the past couple of days since our really big pump. So I think that, you know, and I'm not saying like not financial advice, obviously. Like I'm still remaining long on the stock. You have to be careful with, like, if you're in this for an investment, right, to make money, you got to be careful with taking somebody from YouTube and going, oh, this guy said this is going to happen, so I'm going to trade out of my position and then re-enter at a lower level. That's not what I'm trying to motivate people to do. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on the chart. Obviously, whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do, and that's your decision. But I would definitely challenge my logic by watching other people or coming to your own conclusions before you make that sort of decision. Personally, and also there are tax implications and stuff like that depending on how long you've been in the position, et cetera, et cetera. So for me personally, you know, that's my bias in the short term. And then what happens from there, right? So what I think that would, if this becomes that bottom down here, right, I would expect that we kind of become a little range bound, and then going into like mid to late January, that's when you would start to see the price start to pick back up. So that's kind of my expectation as it stands right now. Obviously, you could have a situation where, you know, you break down to this level, and then maybe I know that the short interest is like at its highest right now, I think, based on the Ortex data. And then maybe you just have a bunch of shorts that just go, okay, look, I've profited enough. The shorter term shorts, right? I've profited enough. You know, I entered maybe up here at the $35 level, or maybe I bought whenever we got this bounce here at this 33. And I'm in pretty deep profit, and I want to cover now. So then they cover, and then maybe those same institutions say, I think it's actually a good opportunity to go long here. The stock is pretty oversold, which, you know, I think is personally the case. So it could be an explosive reversal, but I would expect that we would want to develop some liquidity here through the, and you guys are familiar with the VPVR. We would want to develop some liquidity down here in this region. You know, like you see this box right here of this trading zone, and basically this just measures volume on a vertical scale. So it measures volume by price. And so you can see here that this is like the empty spot, right? All of these areas have a lot more volume than this area does. Let me make it a little bit more refined here. Maybe just go to 100. You can see. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty significant block. I mean, this right here has almost no selling volume in it right here. So this region is from $20.21 to like $22. It has almost no selling volume in the recent trading history of AMC, because remember, we pretty much, the only times that we've been in this region, the 20 to 21, is when AMC, it was pre-market. Oh, that's another thing that I want to look at. So let's look at with extended hours on, and then draw this Fibonacci again. That's another thing that I want to show you guys. Hold on. I remember that was a key thing for me too. So if you measure this Fibonacci here, hold on, let me just finish that point that I was talking about. The only times that we've been in this trading region is just barely here, right? With the $20 pump in January, and then we blasted right through this zone on our way up to $72, right? So it's a very untraded region. There's virtually no volume there. And I think that institutions are going to want to see the stock prove itself there. Does that mean that it's going to be there for months? No, I don't think that's the case. But I do expect that there will be some trading there. There's just liquidity there, right? There's a good reason. Now that we're down here in this region, there's a good reason for the stock to be trading in that zone, at least for a little while, to prove itself. So that's how I see it. So let's move on to that Fibonacci. So if you measure the Fibonacci using the ultimate high in January, which was the pre-market $25.81 before the buy button got taken away. Ooh, pretty criminal. Then it's kind of looks the same. You break below that 0.5 Fibonacci, and then you hang above the 0.618, which is $5.14. Let's do a few measurements here just to confirm that we're still doing the same thing here. Yeah, you see the 0.5 is 1984, but in this case, that 618 actually is down at 1452. So then if it was to replicate that move, it would hang above this 1452 region for the local Fibonacci. And remember, the difference between this Fibonacci is that it's on log scale versus not log scale. Both are relevant. To be honest with you, both are relevant because they're just like ratios of Fibonacci numbers, so they're gonna work out no matter what. But this is just something to look out for, to be prepared. You got to be prepared for anything. So, and that's the purpose of this channel, and is for me to be having a conversation with you guys, looking at the stock from a bunch of different angles so that you can understand the price action better. So hopefully that's what happened in this video. If it did, if you learned anything or gained anything from this video, make sure you drop a like on it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I got a Discord link down below. Free Discord you can join, where we have a community of members that we are always sharing charts, having conversations about AMC stock and other stocks. So make sure you check that out. And then follow me on Twitter if you want to get my short-term daily updates. You can check me out there. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Have a good one. Until next time. Thanks, guys.